That man is a goner.
Hello boys and girls, welcome to the third and final day of our 2025 convention rebuttal. Today we're going to cover a lot of videos which show the grueling reality of being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And stick around till the end because we have a new music video for your enjoyment. Yeah, it's about to get culty. You know, as always, we're doing the cringe challenge, so if you cringe, you lose, and when you cringe, let me know the exact moment you lost it. Are you ready? Let's get into it.
Strengthen your hope. In the following video, notice how one sister's hope has helped her to endure.
First, we get the life story of this lady from Greece who lost her baby girl, Evie, when she was only 1 year of age. And I've said it multiple times, JW parents that have lost their children to death are much more likely to become entrenched in the religion. It's much harder for them to wake up from their indoctrination. And the worst part is that Watchtower will use their grief to push these people to do more for their recruitment work. Just like this.
Thinking about the hope we have of a resurrection is something that does really help me. I think everyone wants that, but I have one more reason to want it. I really want the new system to come. But until that happens, I try to meditate about how Paul connected our hope with staying active. This helps me to realize that when I stay busy and zealous in the ministry, my hope will become more firm. Jehovah helped us continue serving in our assignment. This proved to be a great support for us. And it was like medicine for our grief.
And that makes sense because the more you participate in the ministry and talk about paradise, the more you reinforce your own belief system. It's hard to question your religion when you're so busy all of the time.
Of course, we never expected it to be such a long journey. The love that we have for people has helped us to not focus on when the end will come.
In other words, we expected for Armageddon to arrive decades ago, but we're still here. There, I fixed it for you.
I've been able to help many people to come to know Jehovah and to serve Him. That is an indescribable joy that I have today in this system. However, an even greater blessing that I'm looking forward to is welcoming Evie back, so that I can also teach her to serve and praise Jehovah forever.
Oh man, this is just so bittersweet. They sold this sweet couple the idea of an imminent paradise with no basis in reality, and then when they underwent a personal tragedy, they were convinced that the only way to pull forward was to devote more time to the preaching work, selling the paradise hope to even more people. It's just so insidious, but that's how this religion spreads, through grief. When you're a believer, you see these videos and you're moved by them, but once you leave, they become quite disturbing.
How can we imitate Jesus when talking to others about sensitive subjects or about deeply entrenched false beliefs? In the following video, note how a young publisher imitated Jesus.
Roll camera.
A new girl joined our class. I was praying to Jehovah for a long time that I want a Bible study, and I thought that this could be my chance. One day we were talking, and she had started to tell me that she's actually interested in a girl, someone that she's wanted to date. And I totally froze. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I should say something.
Oh, I know what you could have said. Nice, good for you. And then moved on with your life. Spoiler alert, there's women that happen to like other women. I know, shocker, right?
Why are you gay?
The bell rang, so I didn't say anything. But I knew that this topic will come up again. I felt so overwhelmed. How can I talk about something so sensitive, present it in a way that shows that Jehovah is loving and kind, but in the same way, talk about how I don't support it because it goes against my beliefs?
There's nothing loving or kind about asking people to hide their sexual orientation. If you still hold on to those opinions, I suggest you keep it to yourself.
How I don't support it because it goes against my beliefs.
Can you shut the fuck up?
So not too long after that, a girl from my class comes up to me and she's talking about this new couple in the school, and she mentioned that it's two girls. Only this time, I wasn't too shocked and I was prepared. She said, "You're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So you don't support homosexuality. You hate them, right?" Yes! Yes! And I calmly explained to her that she is right that we don't support homosexuality, but that does not mean that we hate the people.
I swear, if they compare homosexuality to smoking one more time, I'm gonna jump off a cliff.
The Bible doesn't approve of smoking either, but most of my class smokes, and I never ignored them or disrespected them. And it's the same in this situation as well. I saw that she didn't agree with me 100%, but she wasn't upset, and she did listen to me, and I saw that she was thinking it over. And we continued to talk after that.
Of course, what were you expecting her to do? Start yelling at you because of your Iron Age beliefs? Most people would just be like, okay, and kind of quietly avoid you.
I felt so relieved after that conversation, and I felt that Jehovah was so proud of me, that he was like right there with me, and it just reassured me that when other controversial topics will come up again, Jehovah will help me prepare and season my words with salt so that I could be tactful with the people and share my beliefs.
Yeah, I don't think sharing those beliefs is gonna win any new converts, especially in such an irreligious country as Latvia. And if a newcomer is watching this in the convention, they're probably not gonna be swayed by these arguments either.
Are you a homosexual?
Next, we get a video of this lady from the Philippines, where she reveals what is a very common issue among Jehovah's Witnesses: the fear of preaching door to door.
When I became an unbaptized publisher, even though I wholeheartedly believed in the teachings and principles of the Bible and I had an appreciation for Jehovah, the concept of knocking on people's doors, talking to strangers, it's intimidating and goes against my personality.
Yes, boys and girls, not everyone in this world is an extrovert, and having to knock on strangers' doors to try to convert them sounds like one of the worst things for someone with anxiety. It was already hard enough for me, even though I wouldn't consider myself an introvert, so it must be torture for someone with high anxiety levels.
When I would approach a door, I felt like my feet would stop working, my palms would sweat. I would do just the softest knock, and I was thinking, please don't come out, please don't answer. I was afraid of the person behind the door. I felt like I didn't give a good impression of Jehovah. My fears and limitations made me feel that I don't deserve to be called one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I isolated myself from the congregation. I focused my time and efforts in my secular work. Before I realized, it was already more than a decade that I have been spiritually stagnant. I tried to find a sense of belongingness and also find any semblance of fulfillment in my life, but I was not successful. I wanted to make an effort to go back to the organization.
So this lady is what we would call a POMI, physically out, mentally in. Someone who is not active in the religion, but who still believes in the doctrine. They're often referred to as inactive individuals. Of course, this lady was not going to find a sense of fulfillment outside her religious community because she still believed that Jehovah's Witnesses were the one true religion. So being outside the community was weighing on her conscience. She eventually goes back to the congregation, gets baptized, and overcomes her fear of talking with strangers. So, happy ending, I guess?
To begin, in the following video, notice how one couple felt after they took an opportunity to share good news despite being tired.
But preaching is not only difficult for introverted people, no, it's also a challenge for people with a busy work schedule. Because after a long week of work, most people just want to relax on their day off. But nope, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're still expected to go out preaching. Sometimes it was very difficult to get out of bed and get to the service group. You have to eat breakfast, get dressed, drive to the Kingdom Hall, and then drive up to the assigned territory. Rinse and repeat every single week.
There's a constant to-do list racing through my mind. And so because of that, at the end of the day, I'm usually mentally and sometimes emotionally exhausted. I'll never forget one experience because it was an especially exhausting week. Even though I wanted to go out in service, it just seemed like more energy than I had. So I prayed to Jehovah multiple times to just get me up and get me out of the house that day. We went through the morning, and at the very last door, we found a man who allowed me to play the video, who was extremely impressed by it, and said that he had wondered all of those questions his whole life. So we arranged for Mike to come back.
Imagine having to work a long day in public school, dealing with obnoxious teenagers, and still having to go preaching in the afternoon because your wife found someone interested in the Bible. Man, I'm so grateful I don't have to go on service anymore.
She finds out that the man was going to be available Tuesday. So I'm going to have to go out after work to meet this man who I hadn't met before. I was a little anxious. It was a long day of work, and I didn't have very much to offer. But I thought, well, I had to follow up. And I go to the door, and there he is waiting for us. I decide, let me offer him the Bible study. He takes it right away. By the time I left the door, all of a sudden, I was full of energy.
If I can just share even one tiny bit of a truth with someone, there's so much purpose behind it and so much joy that at the end of the day, you're guaranteed to feel better than at the beginning.
At the end of the day, you're guaranteed to feel better than at the beginning.
That's such a common catchphrase among Jehovah's Witnesses. You arrive tired to the preaching work or the Kingdom Hall, and you come out feeling refreshed and renewed. And no, not really. Maybe you felt some satisfaction at doing what you were expected to do, but sometimes you would just come out feeling mentally drained. Believe me, if preaching wasn't a requirement for Jehovah's Witnesses, very few members would actually do it. How am I so sure of this? Just look at the Mormons. Mormons are not required to knock on doors, so who are the only ones doing it? The missionaries.
Eddie spent nearly a decade preaching in that territory. And do you know how many people he helped to reach to dedication and baptism? None.
Bruh.
But when he left that assignment, Eddie was in tears. And I remember being shocked. I was amazed. What changed? Why was he suddenly so sad? He explained to me that after preaching there for years, he had developed a genuine love for the people of that territory.
Yeah, Eddie should have been crying that he failed to convert a single person, and now all of them would be destroyed in Armageddon. Because it seems Jehovah didn't bother moving a single heart in that community to join his one true religion. What a monumental waste of time.
You see, preaching good news was good for him. It helped nourish a quality that he needed to work on at that time. And it could do the same for us. Think about it, declaring our hope. It nourishes our faith, regardless of the response. Preaching informally, it strengthens our courage. Returning to not at homes can refine our patience and perseverance, and the list goes on. The point is, preaching good news is good for us.
There is a lot of truth to that statement. The preaching work is mainly to benefit the believer. If by benefit you mean further indoctrinate, that is. You see, whenever a JW preaches to someone, he is reinforcing his own belief system, and when people respond negatively, that reinforces his persecution complex, further convincing him that he's on the right path. After all, Jesus said that the world would hate his true followers, so if people are slamming the doors on my face, that must mean I'm on the right path. That's why Watchtower doesn't really mind if you make 0 converts after decades of service. What matters to them is that you stay so busy that you don't even have time to reevaluate your belief system.
Are we not grateful?
Next, we get a video with Mark Sanderson, who once again is encouraging the young ones to perform free labor for the religion. We literally just made a video a couple of weeks ago of him begging for volunteers.
Let me please.
Auxiliary pioneer? It's encouraging to see many young ones are reaching out to pioneer. If you're young, have you made it a goal to reach out to pioneer? Like Fiorella, a rewarding and satisfying life awaits you if you do.
The preaching work is so exciting and fulfilling that Jehovah's Witnesses have to be constantly reminded of it. And he also brags about the progress that is being made, you guessed it, in Africa.
Across the ocean, on the continent of Africa, there's been tremendous growth. In just the last year, countries such as Malawi, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe have recorded all-time peaks in publishers.
The way this religion exploits this continent just makes me sick, man. And they don't even mention the whole continent of Africa. You will never see Mark talking about Egypt or Somalia or Mauritania because those are Muslim majority countries where the preaching work is banned. It seems Jehovah doesn't give a shit about those countries, seeing how there's barely any publishers there.
Let's travel to Angola, where thousands of Bible studies are started each year.
In Rwanda, the ratio of Jehovah's Witnesses to the general population is 1 witness to 72 people. That's incredible. This shows that the work is being done well, and Jehovah has blessed his people who have been harvesting the vast field in this territory.
No, the success that JWs have enjoyed in Angola is not due to Big J's blessing. Angola is a Catholic majority country with a high poverty rate, the perfect breeding ground for Christian sects to flourish. Mormons and Seventh-day Adventists are also quite successful in Angola and sub-Saharan Africa in general, so would you say Jehovah is blessing them as well?
For example, just in our family, we are conducting over 46 Bible studies. Our children are happy because they get to help many people.
Oh, that's another factor which I forgot to mention. Higher birth rates. People in Africa tend to have more babies than everywhere else, so more babies equal more potential preachers of God's kingdom. Nothing supernatural about any of this.
The fields are indeed ripe for harvesting. And what a joy it is to have a share in this most important work.
You know, if there's one thing that I'm super grateful for in my time as a Jehovah's Witness, is that I never managed to convert anyone. I just wasted thousands of hours out in the ministry, but that's okay. At least I didn't drag anyone into this cult. And the last talk of the convention is given by Jeffrey Jackson, titled Remain in Jehovah's Great Spiritual Temple, and he starts by explaining the meaning of worship. Again.
Duh.
What is the Great Spiritual Temple? Jehovah's Great Spiritual Temple is his arrangement for offering acceptable worship based on the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Those of the great crowd worship Jehovah in the earthly courtyard of the spiritual temple. They, along with the anointed, joyfully worship Jehovah.
No way they actually included Stephen Lett and Kenneth Cook as representing the anointed ones, while all the other sheep are generic placeholders. The cojones in these two, as if they already confirmed their spot in heaven. And I like how they tossed in this random anointed lady, which is funny because women will be allowed to rule with Jesus Christ in heaven if they are anointed, but they're not allowed to be members of the governing body. They're not even allowed to be elders in the congregation. Make it make sense.
Duh.
Jeffrey also gives us a preview of the next Jesus episodes, which look just as bland as episode 2 and 3.
Be silent and come out of him.
This dude looks just like the homeless man down the street asking for change. He does not look like someone who has 1,000 demons inside of him. Man, how did they manage to make the Jesus story so unbelievably boring? It takes some actual skills to sabotage the Gospels this bad.
You're boring.
So next time someone foolishly says to you, "You people don't believe in Jesus," you say, "Have you got a couple of hours? I've got something to show you." Duh.
Jeffrey ends the convention with a music video, which is, surprise surprise, completely forgettable.
And bright, your love I feel, your love is real. I will praise you day and night, it's my delight.
It's just rehashed scenes of the Jesus movie put alongside videos of Jehovah's Witnesses preaching. And that's all this assembly was. Rehashed scenes from the Jesus series turned into modern day lessons. Some of the lessons were coherent, while others were a complete stretch. This convention was such a snooze fest. I know, that's the case for every convention, but this year, I just had a lot of trouble finding footage that I could even use. Most of the talks here were completely unsalvageable. The most brain-dead lessons designed for toddlers. This religion used to be obsessed with diving deep into the Bible, or at least pretending to be scholarly, but now it's just rewatching movie clips like 3 times and being spoon-fed elementary grade lessons. I think by the time the Jesus series is finished, there's not even gonna be a convention anymore. They're just gonna release a coloring book for adults and tell the sheep to have at it. God, I didn't even attend the convention in person and I couldn't wait for it to be over.
But we worship Jehovah our God every day, everywhere, because we want to do His will in the great spiritual temple today, tomorrow, and forever.
So 2025 JW convention, let me know your thoughts in the comment below and let me know the moment you lost the cringe challenge because I love reading your comments. For you, which was the worst part of the program? Because for me, it has to be the apostate videos. Those were just so incredibly culty. If you haven't seen the other convention videos and the rebuttal for the Jesus movie, I invite you to do so. I'll probably release all the convention footage in one video a few months after. And as always, I want to thank my beautiful Patreons and my YouTube channel members for your support. This channel would not be possible without you. If you appreciate my work and would like to gain early access to all my videos, please head on over to Patreon or become a channel member because it's only $1 a month and you help me to keep this channel going for years to come. Guys, I love making videos for you. It does take a lot of work, but it's a great privilege to be part of this channel. Thank you so much, guys. See you on the next video. Take it easy, have a wonderful day, and stay away from the tower.
Bah. Goodbye, little sheep.